Welcome back. Stream your tripping as usual. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. I gotta go to work. Anybody that know me know I want these. Anybody who walked across a jungle to get here and walked through 5,000 countries, literally about seven. When you claim asylum, you're supposed to go to the country that's closest to you, which Venezuela would be Colombia or New Guinea, somewhere over there in Latin America. You don't walk through all this and then cause all the criminal mayhems, the unaliving of American citizens, the R wording of American citizens, uh, S-aim children, and all the crime that you all are doing. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Go home. And all these judges trying to stop deportation. George Soros must be paying y'all a lot of money, but y'all got blood on your hand and you gonna pay for it. Now this happened in December 2024. Then I'm gonna show you what just happened this weekend. They got to get out of here. Feds raid migrant Twende Dewaga gang house in New York City. They everywhere. They everywhere. After tracking GPS ankle monitor to hideout. So I mean, they go to jail, get released. He got released with an ankle monitor. Federal agents nabbed a migrant Trinidad gang crew holed up in a Bronx apartment after tracking one of their ankle monitors to the hideout, sources told the Post. The December 5th raid at an apartment building on the edge of Cortona Park, conducted by a federal task force made up of Homeland Security, Homeland Security investigations, and the NYPD landed seven alleged gangbangers in handcuffs, including a troublesome 28-year-old Venezuelan national who is wearing a court ordered monitoring device that led feds to the crew. Better late than never. Equipped a law enforcement Darwin Cauldron was free despite at least three busts, a Nassau County conviction, and a federal deportation order. This is him. He gone now. This is what actual supervised release looks like, the source asked. The thing about ankle monitors is you have to actually monitor them to be effective. Facts. The raid was nonetheless a significant blow against TDA. No, it wasn't because there's many of them. The violent gang that snuck into the U.S. with a wave of migrants seeking asylum since 2022 and gained a foothold in New York City and Colorado and Chicago. Law enforcement officials said the gang has recruited inside tax funded migrant shelters and runs violent theft and robbery crews while peddling drugs, guns, and women in the five boroughs. What we're seeing is the evolution of Trinidad when they're gone into these sanctuary cities, said former Denver ICE Chief John Fabricone. They've started to solidify themselves and then they throw tentacles out to multiple other locations where they think that they can continue to make money. I think people are finally starting to realize how bad the situation has gotten. According to law enforcement sources, most of the gang members busted outside the Bronx apartment was sought on multiple warrants after crossing the U.S. border with Mexico, then disappearing. And this the apartment building they were dang, I should have kept that man picture that they were caught in. Among them was Jonico Cardoza, 24, who had amassed at least four busts in two states after crossing the border in 2022. Cardoza was previously arrested by the NYPD on grand larceny and stolen property charges in July, had two other Big Apple busts in June for reckless endangerment and robbery. Now, if they was black like us, they wouldn't have been let out. On June 28th, he also was arrested for shoplifting in Greenville, South Carolina. According to sources, they just going from state to state, state to state, and they here because I seen them at Amazon. Another notorious TDA member, 30-year-old Jesus Granado, crossed the border in September 2022 with his Peruvian wife and child, then headed into Canada. But Canadian authorities denied the family's asylum request in September 23 and shipped them back to the U.S., where northern border agents released them pending an immigration hearing. Granado quickly proved himself an undesirable with four arrests in New York and New Jersey. The sources said he was first arrested for shoplifting in Parma on August 18, 2023, followed by a NYPD bus for grand larceny and possession of stolen property in July. On October 1st, he was nabbed on a new shoplifting charge in Parma, followed 3 days later by another grand larceny and stolen property arrest, this time in Waykill in upstate New York. Unbelievable. Also taken into custody was Angel Rodriguez, who was released with a pending court date in September 2023, only to run afoul of law just 2 months later in Chicago. Right, Rodriguez was arrested in Chicago November 3rd, 2023 on shoplifting charge. Still free, he returned to New York City where he was busted on larceny charges March 30th and June 8th. Yet another gangbanger, 21-year-old Fernandez Diaz, was being processed for deportation after getting caught at the border in May. This is unreal. Unreal. However, the sources said he claimed fear of persecution and was released pending a court date, only to disappear, which resulted in a deportation order in absentia on November 20th. Meanwhile, Valdo Cardron, the migrant fugitives who ankle monitor led the feds to the game, dodged the law several times before the Bronx raid. Card- Cauldron entered the USA Eagle Pass August 2022 and was released with a court date. And this is them. The sources said he reported to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Office in the Big Apple the following month, but soon had a rap sheet of his own. He was twice busted on larceny charges in New York and New Jersey, which led to a conviction June 2023 after a separate petty larceny conviction in Nassau County on April 24th, 2023. Caldron then blew off a mandatory check in with immigration authorities and was marked as a fugitive, yet somehow remained free despite an arrest in Florida on February 17th this year for fraud, larceny, and resisting arrest. Mm, mm, mm. He was ordered deported on April 25th, but was still on the loose December 5th. All of the illegal migrants were identified by federal immigration sources as TDA members. The gang and an underage offshoot, Diablo de la 42 or Devils of 42nd Street, have landed on NYPD radar in recent months, including for a rash of heights in Times Square. The tiny terrorists, some as young as 11, have exploited the state's lax criminal justice and juvenile detention status to remain on the streets despite having troubling rap sheets. So this is what we dealing with. You don't go to somebody else's country to commit crimes. but we responsible. Get them the hell out of here. And then you have people talking about, oh, and you have deported a U.S. citizen, children. The 14th Amendment for birthright citizenship was meant for descendants of slaves. That's what birthright citizenship was meant for black folk, not no other folk. And I'm so glad this is being heard in front of the Supreme Court because they got to get the hell out of here. That happened in December. Now, over the weekend, this what happened. No, they got to get the hell up out of here. I don't have no sympathy. None.
Whoa. Let's go, guys. Come on. This is what America voted for.
Facts.
Something else, and this video goes on and on. This is 3 a.m. Sunday morning, Colorado Springs. Wow. In the end, there were about 300 people inside, about 170 illegal arrested. Over the weekend, massive multi-agency raid at this underground nightclub. Rob Murphy is the principal deputy administrator of the DEA, which led the operation. Rob, give me to you. It happens at 3 a.m. I want to read you the president's big raid last night. Some of the worst people illegally in our country, drug dealers, murderers, other violent criminals of all shapes and sizes. And judges don't want to send them back to where they came from. If we don't win this battle at the Supreme Court, our country as we know it is finished. It will be a crime-ridden mess, make America great again, end quote. Rob, take me to Colorado Springs. What happened? Why the raid? How was it carried out? What was it? They're illegals. Good morning, and thank you. Yes, 3 o'clock Sunday morning. This club was well known to law enforcement. We had numerous complaints over the last 2 years. Violence, everything, drug trafficking. We knew what was going on there. We expected to find mostly illegal aliens inside the club. So there was a planned investigation for over a month. DEA did surveillance, controlled buys, everything else to develop. We knew that there was going to be armed personnel inside, security personnel who were actually active duty military. So in the planning of this, we have a pretty dangerous operation. We expected anywhere from 200 to 300 people in that club. There was over 200. We showed up pretty strong, all of our law enforcement partners, DEA, every federal agency, a lot of state and locals, and we made sure that we were able to contain everybody in there. And, not everybody was in there. The majority were. It resulted in about 115 illegal aliens we've identified so far. And there were 17 active duty military, some of which were working at the club as a party. This could have gone sideways. It's 3 in the morning. Your men and women show up armed, and you don't know what's inside. How many members of PDA arrested or other gang members? Not illegal. So went on the exact numbers. I know we've got one solo member. There were definitely gang members, but we're still working on the exact numbers. You're absolutely right, though, Bill. This was a potentially very dangerous operation. When we went in, somebody unknown to us bear sprayed, trying to prevent or hinder us from doing our operation. As you can see in the video, people ran in every direction, especially the people that are in there illegally, had nothing to lose. They were going to try to do everything they can to get out of there. We knew that there was armed, active duty military. We showed up with the president. We had over 300 law enforcement personnel, all working towards making this community safe. And from an tactical operational standpoint, it could not have gone any better. Wow. How'd you keep it quiet? I wonder, because sometimes the word gets out. Well, AOC wasn't able to warn them in time.
Right.
He was the most violent.
Right.
In America, the command and control for TDA in the entire United States of America is right here in Colorado. Why Colorado? How do you answer that? Why not? I don't know. I don't know where you live if you've got them there. So our job in law enforcement, we've been tasked. of getting these people out of the country. We have enough homegrown criminals. We don't need to import any.
Right.
And we, since January 20th, law enforcement is working day in and day out to get all the, especially the illegal criminal, out of the country. It makes it easier for us, thin the herd, and we can get back to doing, making the community safer and working about the ones that are here legally.
Seems to me that the Douglas County Sheriff, Darren Weekly, cooperated in a significant way.
He did. And he was,
is that right?
He did. He was very vocal about it. Yeah, he did. And he was very vocal about it.
So thanks for coming on, Rob Murphy. I guess there's, and when there is, let's hope it goes.
Yeah, it's not over. We're still. But we agree with it. We agree on that. And again, men and women are doing whatever they can to get these communities safer.
Wow. Yeah, full steam ahead, guys. And actually, AOC could be facing consequences for,
operations in a week that my office has done in 4 years.
Good.
The team's coming together. You got the architect, Steve Miller. We're all working together to increase those numbers until we can eradicate once and for all every illegal alien gang member and public safety threat. And that's
facts. Get them out of here.
Our foot's on the gas, and God bless President Trump for giving us the authorities, the resources to do this job. It's his vision that's making this all possible.
One of the really good benefits about closing up the border is that it's also boosting the economy, guys. President Trump is Trump, buddy. I don't know if you're going to last that long, bro.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, you guessed it. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama produced that film.
One of the TDA members' cell phones. Shame on her.
Oh, we're not going to talk about her yet.
Okay.
Site. It says here.
And it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, I'm super curious what's.
So that happened over that first one I read, December 2020, doing the same stuff. They have not changed. Get them out of here. I don't give a. Get out. Oh, shoot. That was the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Recap.
Cost of running the state's emergency shelter system through next fiscal year is expected to cost taxpayers
This Massachusetts.
That estimate revealed just days before the state's 5-day limit for migrants in overflow shelters takes effect. Boston 25 News reporter Drew Caritas live outside the State House, where Drew, the state is hoping to deter new arrivals.
Harry, state leaders are warning that Massachusetts taxpayers will likely need to shell out $1 billion each year for several more years to come if the number of people in need of state-funded shelter services does not subside. Some are questioning if the new 5-day stay limit for migrants is coming into play too late to make an impact, less than 48 hours before it takes effect. More migrant families are arriving in Massachusetts with each day, despite recent efforts to deter people from coming. Beginning this Thursday, those staying at the former Chelsea Soldiers' home and other overflow sites can max.
Your family right now, back up. Every 5 days leave. 5 days leave. Anyone.
It's free. It's free. We're paying, live up here, but they're not.
66-year-old Army veteran Jerry Williams, who lives in another building on the Chelsea property, believes stricter rules for migrants should have been implemented long before now.
She's 71 years old. She's home. Basically, she can't get a place. We plenty of problems in the country.
House and Senate Republicans are suggesting that the state make permanent changes to the shelter system to help curb the overwhelming cost.
$1 billion this fiscal year that it's going to cost, and on January 1st, we're going to run out of money. This is one of these things that could sink the Commonwealth financially, and we can't let that happen.
Sutton Republican Senator Ryan Fatman says surplus dollars left over from previous fiscal years won't be available to help fund the migrant crisis come next year.
We're going to have to start pulling money from other line items like education, public safety, roads, bridges, social services. when our taxpayers in the Massachusetts are truly
Mayor Wolf. Hey, where's Mayor Wolf? Stupid StreamYard. Where is? Hold on, I need to put this because I want this to go with Boston. Hey, she should have been right here. There she go. I got her.
Thing will cost the state for years to come.
I think that's $1 million question is what happens after 5 days.
Providers we've been talking not included in the decision making about the new location shelter stay. They're worried that the sad reality will be even more migrant families stranded on the street.
I wouldn't give a fuck.
Cost the state even more. We're live outside the State House. Drew Caritas for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Listen. I would not care at all. You can't go anywhere outside of your country where they're gonna help you like that. You cannot. And it's a damn shame. No, y'all got to get the hell up out of here. For real, y'all got to go. All the unaliving you have done of Americans, and y'all got to go. And you got a group of people talking about they got rights. How you got rights and you not a citizen? You don't have due process. You here illegally. And that's in the Constitution. And y'all deliberately let by we was under the compact of global migration. I got an old video about 6 months ago that explained this whole thing. Our borders were ran by the United Nations, not ourselves. Biden sold us out. And the UN was running our borders, and that's the fact, just like they did in Europe. I lost everything again. I'm pissed off about it. I'm trying to eat my little snack. Till I find the rest of my video. Oh, have mercy. So that more or less was a then and now situation. Lord knows I got to be up at 6 o'clock. I'm tired of getting up in the morning. I want to get up when I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? I might have my other phone already there. Oh, no, I don't. Lord have mercy. Y'all gotta bear with me. This just don't make no sense. The whole thing went away. But no, all the prostitution, all the theft, prostitution, having babies, and they using birthright citizenship, which was meant for black folks, descended of slaves, because we ain't had nowhere to go back to. Ooh. They must not have took that was salary. Oh, let me find my date. Where I'm at. We got laws on the books in the Constitution about immigration and But George Soros, he must be paying a lot of money for people to lose their reputation and their career over these migrants who don't speak English, ain't trying to learn English. And Donald Trump just made sure that they can't get no welfare. He cut them off. So how the hell you come here and you getting Social Security? And American citizens can barely get Social Security disability. All what we got to go. Just giving them. They ain't never had a car. They walked here. Where they do that at? Now, how did the woman know? I hate StreamYard. I'm almost there. This just don't make no sense. Yeah, but they got to go. You ain't got to look. You ain't got. You got to go. I don't give a damn where you go to. What happened to you? Okay, I think I got it now. Let me delete that old video. Oh Lord, it went back to. And they done tore up Europe. All them illegal migrants, they done tore Europe up. They doing the same. They got gang. They call them R gangs over there from Pakistan, because this is what they do in their home countries. They bring their customs here, and that's what this next video gonna say. Okay, cool. Now found that this is what they do in their and they bring it here, like this video.
I am definitely not in the worst part of town trying to pick up prostitutes. I'll explain on this episode of the Hot Zone. Hey folks, how's it going? This is Chuck Holton, and I am in Cucuta, Colombia tonight in a really seedy part of town, and that's putting it mild, I would say. As a matter of fact, you probably will see me here in about 15 seconds pass a couple of nice ladies of the night who are engaged in, their normal, probably what they normally do here at night. And when so this is not that place you'd want to bring your kids, of course, around in this kind of a place at this time of night. It's about 10 o'clock at night. And let me just back up and explain to you how our trip has gone so far here in Cucuta, Colombia, right on the Venezuelan border. This place is a city in crisis, and it's because because there are 300 into this city, is right here on the border from Venezuela, are just how people are literally starving to death. Children are malnourished. There's no medicine. There's no toilet paper. There's nothing. Over there, we're watching people. What's that? We're watching people come across carrying.
Damn, this don't make no sense.
In Venezuela, and
Damn.
why there's
I'm
not
afraid.
electricity in Venezuela right now in many of the border towns. So if you're wondering whether I'm kind of worried I'm going to get rolled out here, the only thing that really worries me is the fact that I'm talking to you at this moment, because it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to maintain situational awareness, let's say. But the very good thing is that this camera I'm talking into has a little screen right there that I can see who's coming up behind me, and that's very helpful right now. This is the kind of place where, it's a transitional space, very, very dangerous. My friend John Correa talks about, not doing things in transition leaves you open to being robbed. So I might just check behind me once in a while, but that's why I'm through. This street that I'm on is the street where the taxi driver told us that Venezuelan prostitutes all hang out. And if I can get up my nerve to actually talk to one of them, maybe we'll find out their story. Maybe they'll punch me in the nose. I don't know. This is not really my comfort zone, let's put it that way. Nevertheless, so today we started out supported by Samaritan's Purse, and it's where the mothers with children come to get things like formula and diapers and other medical care. There's a doctor there and that sort of thing. So there were a bunch of mothers lined up on the sidewalk outside, and we talked to some of them and heard their stories. Obviously, pretty heart-wrenching stories. It's amazing how many similarities I've noticed between, definitely worse last week when I was there, but it's similar in some ways in that just the love walked over here and sat down next to me, and I think maybe it's either because she is hoping for some business. ¿Hablas inglés?
No, voy a comprar una pipa.
Una pipa.
¿Me espera?
Okay.
Pero me espera.
Estoy aquí como 5 minutos más. Mira, tengo 5 minutos más. So she walked over here. She's a little slower, maybe on drugs or something like that. Drogadito ahí. Explíqueme lo que está pasando con ella.
No, un caramelo, una pipa se le llama un caramelo.
Ajá. Pero ¿por qué está sentado al lado de mí? ¿Nombre?
Heine.
Heine. Soy Carlos. Okay. Be careful and keep my head on a swivel here, but people have been really amazingly nice. We got a chance today to go to see what they call La Trocha. That is like the shortcut that's out of Venezuela and into Venezuela, and they don't want to take them in over the bridge where they'll get checked by the police or anything. Take a look at what that looked like. So
Actually, I'm standing right now in Venezuela, technically. This is the River Tachira. That's the Colombian side over there. Look at these guys over here. They're
Damn.
the bridge where you come across officially is about a quarter mile that way. But right here, there's nobody. So we just walked right across. And here's the Venezuelan side over here. That's it. We're in Venezuela. You get food, drink, and a comfortable ride. And nice scenery. So that was pretty interesting. I'm still out here. I was talking about the just the trouble with ladies of the evening that are out here, and how they're. I mean, these people are so desperate, and they've come and the Colombian prostitutes get in fights with the Venezuelan prostitutes because the Venezuelans want $6.
Wow, $6
a job or whatever you call it, and I mean that's pretty horrific.
$6.
If you think about it.
Wow.
I mean, anybody who's got daughters like I do, I'd be draining if you really want to be honest about it, to come out here and meet people that are in such desperate straits. And anyway, I just wanted to bring you out here and kind of show you what it looks like around here. I'm going to walk around a little bit.
So that is life. I do get it, but come here the right way. Don't bring your customs here. Okay. Get out.
Migration into the US is one of the most divisive issues the country faces today and will be one of the main points which will decide the election on November the 5th. Today we're going to discuss the unprecedented number of people coming into the country and the impact it is having on American cities and people. The New York Post has been on the front lines of urgent crisis. Our stories of secret flight migrants into New York, the enormous cost of running ships inside of them, and the exasperation of city leaders as the people just keep coming. Nationally, we've covered in detail the problems Border Patrol face to stop illegal to the southern border and how little time. We've also captured on camera what happens when things do spiral out of control. First, some contexts. Between 2009 and 2018, immigration levels in the US were low. After a spike in 2019 and during the COVID-19 crisis, which started in 2020, the Trump administration took action and largely closed the southern border, where more than 90% of new migrants enter the US. Under the Biden administration, there's been an explosion of people, first from
South America
and then from countries all around the world seeking refuge in the US. Figures from Customs and Border Protection show over 9 million people have been encountered by border agents since Joe Biden.
That's a damn shame.
This is way beyond the number of people Border Patrol have the capacity to handle. Some of the nation's biggest cities, including New York, Chicago, Houston, San Diego, and Denver, have struggled to cope with this. And the problem isn't going away. Millions of people are waiting in the country for years as their asylum claims play out through the courts. But before we get to that, let's have a look at the origins of the crisis. To discuss this, I'm joined by New York-based reporter Kevin Sheehan, who has been on the beat in the city, which has been the #1 destination for new see information
how it was.
Yeah, I mean, that was out there, and they all rushed me. That's something that is the worst fear among our law enforcement down there. This happened, in March, and by Governor Abbott. They were being organized in El Paso after crossing from Juarez, Mexico. And there were about 600 migrants. Now, they were organized into two different mills. So the soldiers down there, the single adult males back to Mexico, and to leave the rest for Border Patrol. This was in front of a gate, so they knew that Border Patrol was going to come eventually, open the gate, and then process them. And these migrants' fate was not what they had wanted. They became very disorderly, but it happened so quickly, you couldn't really expect that they would just basically rush the border wall there. They would create so much chaos that you had soldiers who were injured. You had a soldier they were trying to take his gun, a soldier whose knee was stomped.
Damn.
And it just happened within seconds. It really did. And it was 600 versus just a few, maybe, a couple handfuls of them were there. And it was very, very scary to watch because you think in the back of.
And these the people that have been released into our country. Y'all got to go. Y'all got to get the hell out of here. Y'all got to go. Where's my phone? I'm going to save that video for another time, so I'm going to take that off of here. Because I put that under something else. Damn. Oh, shit. Oh, I did that. All right. Oh, what we got? About 20 minutes. Shit, I got to go to bed. Give me a minute. Let me find this video. They got to get the hell up out of here. They got to go. Now you got a country like Brazil that's vetting them, and we was just letting them in.
Why Brazil? It is asking for vaccines and it is betting and filtering the mass migration that is occurring right now through their borders by hundreds of Venezuelans. But in the United States of America, that is considered to be racist. There is a mass migration right now occurring to the south border of Brazil, to the north border of Brazil and the south border of Venezuela, to be correct. We released this article, and it is just recently happening. It says the article in our webpage. You can go to our webpage and found it. Oscar Blue Ramirez News, follow it. It says, crisis and fear in Venezuela. New wave of migration grows to 500 to 600 Venezuelans. Cross the Pacaraima, Brazil border daily in South America. Now listen to this. Who is the president of Brazil? It's a leftist president called Lula. This thing already that on top they were.
He sure did, and they brought DNA testing back to make sure that these children are with their parents. And I'm gonna start the series on what has happened. It's 300,000 missing migrant children. Some sex trafficked, some child labor, some slaves, some are unalived. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But Brazil was vetting their people, not just letting them in. And we was
Or
just letting them
unaccompanied
in.
minors coming in with non-parents. This for the ACLU was considered to be racist, oppressive, and a violation of human rights. Also, there was, so there was another party, massive damage. It was considered to be racist and oppressive to the people that they were asking for asylum because they were.
This is Oscar Ramirez.
Title 42 was implemented. But what's going on in Brazil? Why the president of Brazil is not being considered to be racist, not being considered to be oppressive, and is not being considered to be violating human rights? Why? Because he's a leftist communist president. And what is he doing? Let me just read you this article. It says, after the presidential election process of July 28 of 2024, a new way of repression has arrived and led by the administration of the government of Nicolás Maduro in Venezuela. It should be noted that the situation in Venezuela, there is no employment, and if you get one, it is $20 a month, which is not enough. Journalists and residents of the Gran Sabana municipality in the state of Bolívar reported that a significant migratory surge that includes the daily departure between 500 and 600 Venezuelans to Pacaraima, 214 kilometers away from Vista, that currently operates 60s a week in
Wow.
to 8,000. Now listen to this. Why this president it is not being oppressed like it was President Trump when he implemented Title 42, or why the voters of the United States of America are not asking for vaccinations and not vetting and not filtering, when Brazil right now that is receiving this surge, look what they're asking. It says the increased flow of migrants meant that the process of documenting migrants, look at this, in Brazil they're documenting them. Immigrants issuing this CPF and the SUS card, that is the vaccination card. It says ending from 1 day to at least 5 days. So you're telling me that the mass migration that is happening right now to Brazil, migrants are getting vaccinated and documented, which in the United States borders, that is considered it is considered
Unbelievable. 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 I'm going to leave that right there. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm going to bed. I got to work tomorrow. I love y'all.